Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Grow with Tahirah, and I am Tahirah, and I empower women to rebuild and thrive after life's transitions through personal growth, travel, and healing. So today, we're going to continue our series of reinvention. And one thing I want to talk about today is navigating grief and isolation. Now, I know I mentioned in my first video that when my late husband passed away, it was during the height of the pandemic. And this is where we had the CDC issued shelter in place orders and travel restrictions. So when my late husband made his transition, may Allah be pleased with him, Ameen, and rest his soul, I was in California in our apartment alone. I went through that grieving process alone. My family and my friends, I had that virtual connection. We would FaceTime with my mom and my father and my siblings and my close friends. Like, I had people there to support me virtually. But when it comes to in person, no one was in that home with me to witness me cry. No one was there to prepare. Well, I was going to say prepare my meals, but I did have a group of sisters prepare meals and leave them at my doorstep. But no one was in that home with me during that process. And it was a very, very, very challenging time for me. One of the worst experiences in my life, that just my husband's illness leading up to his death. Not only was I going through a probate battle during that time, grieving in isolation, I didn't have in-person support. So here are some things that I did that helped me to get through. Because although I was lonely, and although I was grieving in isolation, I will say that as challenging as that period of my life was, there was also miraculous blessings that occurred during the time. Because let me tell you, God does not leave his servants. He does not abandon his servants, and he does not forsake his servants. So what I believe in my religion, in Islam, are that angels are present. We have two angels that are there with us and who are present with us. And I know for sure that when I cried, my angels witnessed my tears. That gave me comfort in knowing that I'm not 100% alone. I have the angels with me. I had the angels praying with me when I was praying my 5 prayers. When I was crying out to my Lord, begging for ease, seeking mercy, seeking some understanding of what I'm going through during my grieving process. I knew that I was not alone, and I knew that God did not leave me. And I say the same to you. You may be going through the most challenging time of your life that you've ever experienced. And I want to let you know and remind you that you are not alone. Because you have God with you, and you have your angels as witnesses. And I want to also share some things that you can do that could bring comfort and support during these times. So one thing that I did, and although we know the times are different now, like we're not sheltered in place and there's no travel restrictions, but even still, even when the world is opened up and everyone is back outside, you can still feel lonely in a crowded space. So one thing that I would say, I would encourage you to do is find your community, find your group. You can be an introvert and still find a community, find some kind of support group or a safe space where there are other people who are experienced what you're experiencing, going through what you may have been through, or who can support you in your journey, in your process of the transition. So find a support group. What I did was I joined a virtual widow support group that was local in Sacramento, but no one was meeting in person. So we had Zooms, and I was grateful that I had the ability to connect with other widows and widow persons who understood my pain and who understood that grievance. So that's one thing I would say do. Another thing I would encourage you to do is to get active. Get active. One thing that combats the feelings of depression, because grieving in isolation definitely brings forth depressed feelings. So one thing that combats the depressed feeling is being active. Whether you go to the gym, whether you leave out your home and you walk around the block, or whether you watch a YouTube channel and do your workouts at home. That's what I'm doing now. I'm currently in the YouTube workout phase, where in the era where I'm actually watching YouTube videos and I'm working out, and I love it. That's another thing that you can do. Another thing you can do to support yourself through this journey is to channel those emotions and those feelings creatively. That means you can take a class, learn something new. Like if you learn something new, you're actually igniting certain signals in your brain that brings forth feelings of like endorphins. You're feeling good and it's lifting your spirit. You can learn a new recipe. You can take on a new class if you want to learn a new language, or if you want to complete your degree, or if you want to start your business. Just take on something new. Another thing that you can do if you don't feel strong enough, just be consistent in your daily routine, as I mentioned in the previous video. That means what you're doing in the morning. What is your morning routine? Do you wake up for prayer? Do you eat a particular meal? What is that routine? What I would tell the widows that I worked with in the past, sometimes all you may have is enough strength to just take a shower. So if that's you just one day getting up and take a shower, that can help you through that process. So know that although you may be dealing with this life transition and isolation, do know that there are resources, tools, communities, and strategies that will help you to shift from that space and to be in community. Because one thing that the enemy of man loves, he loves for us to dwell in isolation and to play all of those thoughts in our mind that's going to bring down our spirit and bring forth darkness, right? So take this time to reconnect with community, strengthen your prayers, get active, and try something new that will benefit you. I promise. So I would love to hear from you. Please type in a comment. What do you do? What have you done to help you move through your grieving process, especially when you felt alone? And please remember to subscribe, because I want to make sure that we're connected, and I want to keep you up to date as to the progress that's occurring with Grow with Tahirah. I'm working on my membership, and I'm going to have a membership for community for you and the women who are working on rebuilding their lives, or who need help rebuilding their lives so that they can thrive, because we are meant to do so much more. This life transition will not take us out of life. This life transition will not take us out of the game of life. We may have sat down to reboot, to reset, to take care of ourselves so we can get back up there, because I'm gonna tell you this, there is a next chapter. There is a new beginning. There is a fresh start. There is beauty in the world. You will be able to breathe again. You will be able to create again. You will be able to feel again. You'll be able to believe again. You'll be able to dream again. And you will get back to who you once were. But the new and approved 2.0, I'm going to tell you that for sure. So I look forward to us growing together. Come with me on this journey. We're growing together. Peace and love.